The Boy Who Reversed Himself by William Sleator, 11. Hey, Pete, look back at the lantern where the rope is, I said. What for? But he stopped and turned. Then he had nothing to say. Think you can find the rope now? I asked, so furious at him I actually felt a certain satisfaction that his plan had backfired. We'll find it in the morning. He refused to accept he had made a mistake. We'll be able to see the clearing then, and maybe this is the way back. Come on. I just think it is rather amusing that a blemish such as you would call me fat. That is all. Have you taken a thoughtful look at yourself recently? God, I wish it would shut up, I said as we squelched through mud toward the pink light. It was bad enough having these uninvited thoughts forced into our heads. Why did they also have to be so petty and bickering? Shh, Pete said. We stopped and peered past a clump of shimmering shrubbery. The oblong of pink light was quite close now, tilting away from us at yet another peculiar angle. But if the light was coming from a house, we could make out nothing of the building. Focusing our eyes on the light had blinded us to whatever might be surrounding it. Come on, Pete whispered, pulling my hand. You want to go closer? We'll be careful. But Pete had never had a glimpse of real 4 space creatures. Those slimy globs of flesh, constantly changing, wrenching apart and fusing together again, rolling along and suddenly growing mouths in unexpected places. Pete, listen to me. You have no idea what the creatures here are like. I told you, I've seen them. They're worse than you could ever think. And Omar said they'd have to kill us if we got caught out here. Omar? What does he know about any of this? You're just being hysterical. This really might be the way home. We have to find out. I do not need to sit here and be abused and insulted by the likes of you, and I do not appreciate your references to my face, pitiless one. My poor face was changed by an accident and has nothing to do with overindulgence, as you well know. Against my will, we moved closer, doing our best to ignore the intrusive thoughts. Now there was no shrubbery, only a kind of thick carpet-like mat beneath our feet. I was terrified. I felt pretty sure we hadn't fallen this far out of 3D space. And how could we have rolled past all those trees without being stopped by them? Still, the closer we got to the light, the less it looked like a window, and the more it did look like a solid section of pink sky. And the smell of food cooking was achingly familiar. It would be supper time at home. Maybe all we had to do was reach the bottom of the oblong. I began to hope again. In another minute, we might be tumbling into my room. They'd be amazed at how nice I'd be tonight. I'd set the table, I'd clear the table, I'd do the dishes, I'd be Omar's friend forever. I'd never bother him about 4D space again. He could have it. And then an entire wall of pink light exploded in front of us. And that's the end of chapter 11.